to give away the farm. People, right now, they take the word conservative and traditional, and it equals dead church, all right? How about let's redefine that and be excited about the Lord and excited about Christ and excited about serving Him under the Bible-preaching, conservative, traditional church. That's a good thing, an excellent church for His glory. There's a third passage. It's in 2 Samuel chapter 7, if you turn back there. If you teenagers are counting slides, there are 12 slides in the presentation. Just to make sure, if you can hold out 12 slides, it'll be all right. Second Samuel chapter 7 is a passage that might challenge you greatly. Sure challenged me back in January. I want you to totally turn your thinking here into what's going on. I'm going to read verse 1 through 13 of chapter 7. And it came to pass when the king sat in his house that the Lord had given him rest round about from all his enemies, that the king said unto Nathan the prophet, See now, I dwell in a house of cedar, but the ark of God dwelleth with curtains. And Nathan said to the king, Go, do all that is in thine heart, for the Lord is with thee. That sounds all great up and good to that point. Okay, look at verse number 4. And it came to pass that night that the word of the Lord came unto Nathan, saying, Go and tell my servant David, Thus saith the Lord, Shalt thou build me an house for me to dwell in? Whereas I have not dwelt in any house since the time that I brought up the children of Israel out of Egypt, even to this day, but I have walked in a tent and in a tabernacle. In all the places wherein I have walked with all the children of Israel, spake I a word with any of the tribes of Israel, whom I commanded to feed my people Israel, saying, Why build ye not an house of cedar? Now therefore so shalt thou say unto my servant David, Thus saith the Lord of hosts, I took thee from the sheepcote, from following the sheep to be ruler over my people, over Israel. And I was with thee whithersoever thou wentest, and have cut off all thine enemies out of thy sight, and have made thee a great name like unto the name of the great men that are in the earth. Moreover, I will appoint a place for my people Israel, and I will plant them that they may dwell in the place of their own, and move no more. Neither shall the children of wickedness afflict them any more as before time, and as since the time that I commanded judges to be over my people Israel, and have caused thee to rest from all thine enemies, also the Lord telleth thee that He will make thee a house. Look up here, unless you don't get what's going on. Lest you don't get what's going on. David wants to build God a house. He says, you're dwelling in curtains in a tabernacle, and I dwell in this beautiful cedar house. I got wainscoting and all kinds of stuff. I got a beautiful house. So I want to build God a house. Sounds great and good. God says, God kind of chuckles. And God says to him, wait a minute. It's not the house that you want to build me that's important. It's the house that I have built of you. I have built you a house. Keep looking, verse 12. And when the days be fulfilled, and thou shalt sleep with thy fathers, I will set up thy seed after thee, which shall proceed out of thy bowels, and I will establish his kingdom. He shall build a house for my name, and I will establish the throne of his kingdom forever. Verse 18, then went King David in and sat before the Lord, and he said, Who am I, O Lord God? And what is my house that thou hast brought me hitherto? There's a little bit different thinking here, and I want you just to have patience with me, and I hope you'll get it. Here's David in pride wanting to build the God of the universe a house to live in. It sounds great. It sounds noble. It sounds wonderful. It makes sense. God dwells in curtains. I dwell in a cedar house, a beautiful cedar house. I want to make God a beautiful house of wood. It's not a bad idea. Eventually, God did allow his son Solomon to build the house. That's not the bad thing. But the point in these verses is this, that it is no great thing for us to build God a house. Now I want that to sink in your heart a minute. It's no great thing for us to build God a house. It is a great thing that He has made a house out of us. It's a great thing that He has made something out of your life. That's the great thing. That's the thing that God says is beautiful. What He has done for you, not what you can do for Him. To David, it was the house of Messiah. He was going to be in the lineage that would bring forth Messiah, Christ. To us, God dwells within us. We are His house. That's the building that is most important. The spiritual one. not the physical brick one. Bear with me. Last January, the point of this to our building became clear to me. To God, the most important thing at Lighthouse is not brick and mortar and a beautiful building to come. It is what He has and will continue to do in us spiritually. Amen. All right? What is beautiful is the marriages that have been saved. What is beautiful is the people who have received Christ and have changed and been baptized. What is beautiful is the worship as we sing to the Lord. What is beautiful is that our children are being brought up in the nurture and the admonition of the Lord. That is what is beautiful, what God has done to us, the house that He has built for us. We must not allow this building to become a god to us. We must put it in its right perspective. It must not be more important to us than worship or preaching or soul winning or prayer meeting or fellowship. God building us a house is more important than us building Him one. After all, honestly, folks, who can house the God of the universe? Isn't it a funny thing to even think, even God, like talking in men's words that I've been dwelling in curtains? God can't be contained in this whole universe. He is bigger than all of it. He's Almighty One. And we think we're going to build Him a house? I mean, what piddly effort is that? What great praise does He get from that, just the brick and mortar? Yes, I believe that the Lord is leading us. Yes, it's a good thing to do. Yes, it's a functional thing. But why? So that in that place, God can build us spiritually. Now there is the beautiful thing. Now there is what God was interested in, what He was going to do, and what He had done in David. And this whole passage just turns around. It's a great comparison. David thought he was really going to do something, and God says, no, I've done something great for you. And when He said that in verse number 18, David is incredibly humiliated, and he's brought to a low place, and then God receives glory. And he says, what have you done? Where have you brought me? You, God, have brought me somewhere. I've not done anything for you. Let's keep our focus on Him building us. That brings God the most glory. His grace and His love and His great works in us, building and changing us. And I hope your faith is also being challenged in this building. And these were the three passages that the Lord has worked in my life over months and months and months of struggling back and forth. And when sometimes they're very low, and could it ever be done, and these kind of things. And I hope you're opening your mind to this thing too. Listen, this building isn't just something that you come to church every once in a while and they get up there and they say something about the building fund or whatever. This is a faith journey for you too. You've got to be on board. We need every one of us. It's for every one of us, no one more than others. It's somewhere where God is going to do great things with us, to us. He's going to build us there as He has built us right here. As we transition a little bit, I thought it would be great for us to understand where we're headed if we would realize and appreciate how great God has been and what He has brought us to. You might say, what has been accomplished? Instead of looking at a bottom line that everybody wants to look at, and everybody wants to know numbers and figures and the bottom line and how much it's going to cost and this kind of thing and how can we ever raise that amount of money, let me take you backwards a little bit and show you what God has already done. And perhaps then when the final price tag is given to us, that what He can do won't look so big. What has He already done? How about cash accomplishments? Things that He has already paid for in cash. Concerning specifically, this is outside of our budget. This doesn't have anything to do with our missionaries and the great amount of money we've been able to send there. Doesn't have to do with paying the staff or anything like that or lights or anything. This is totally outside of our functioning budget. What has God done in these past years, short years? Well, He's paid for the down payment of this land, $400,000. In cash, the renovation of the auditorium, around $170,000. He's paid for the Sears property in cash, $240,000. He has paid for the modular renovation, $35,000. He's paid for the Haven of Rest renovation, $38,000. He's paid for the site work engineering, $200,000. An amazing thing to me came clear that there's an awful lot of money and work invested before you ever put a shovel in building. We have what's called a major record plan. It's not a minor record plan. It's a major record plan. It's over 10,000 square feet building that we're building.